was one of America's most popular sedans. And sadly, Ford killed it and allowed the Asians and the Europeans to take all of his customers. There was nowhere that you could find a car like this. Nowhere except in China after they discontinued this vehicle. I don't understand why Jim Farley will let a beautiful car like this die, thinking that everybody wants SUVs and thinking that every other automaker will follow, when the Asians really just played GM and Ford out of their competition. Take notes, Jim Farley, because I drive an American sedan, and there's no need that anybody driving this car needs a Toyota Camry. Holla at your boy. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Today's video is brought to you by BlackhawkBond007.com, my new automotive news website for all of your U.S., domestic, and foreign car news and car reviews. If you don't want to miss any of the latest and the greatest updates on new, used, and incoming cars, spy shots, and spy videos, make sure you check out BlackhawkBond.com is your new automotive news website compared to that of Car and Driver, Road and Track, Motor Trend, Car Scoops. This is your new automotive news website for all of your car news and car reviews, from U.S. automaker news to non-U.S. automaker news as foreign news, and a dedicated page for all of your Mopar news articles as well too. Tips on what and what not to do when buying and selling a car, consumer stories, spy photos of future vehicles, videos as well too, future products coming out in 2026, product reviews, all that here on BlackhawkBond007.com. BlackhawkBond007.com is your new automotive news website. Check it out for all of your automotive needs. Today we're going to be reviewing the 2010 Ford Fusion SEL trim, okay? We're going to teach Jim Farley a lesson in consumer, and it's called supply and demand, okay? And we're going to show him why they should have never canceled this sedan. We're going to show you why we still want American sedans. And while we're doing that, we're going to take you on a tour of all the exterior and interior features of the 2010 Ford Fusion SEL. We're going to give it a test drive, and then we're going to give it the official Blackhawk report card. Y'all know how that works. We're going to rate everything in terms of how it drives, the design, the fun factor behind the car, the features, the value on the car. And at the end, we're going to give it an overall score. And then I'm going to let you know at the end if I recommend this car for everybody. Okay? Let's get into it. Let's talk exterior features, okay? Ford didn't have too much of an identity universally around the board when it came to their design language. But Ford started finding their way once the 2006 Ford Fusion first debuted, effectively replacing the mid-size Ford Taurus at the time, okay? And then they had a facelift model for the 2010 model year, and that went from 2010 to 2012 before they redesigned it. That's this one right here, and this is a heavily revised version of their original 06 design, still with the tri-bar grille. When Ford came out with the Ford Fusion in 2006, it blew the auto industry away, like out the park, okay? Because at that time, you still had the Toyota Camry, lame duck, design was far out of date. You had the Honda Accord, design was far out of date. You had the Chevy Malibu, design far out of date. You had the Nissan Altima, they just had their facelift for 05. Okay, up until 06, but it's always that one thing that I tell y'all: whoever calls the cops first. If the girl calls the cops first, the dude getting arrested. If the dude calls the cop first, the girl getting arrested. They don't care who actually did it. Whoever do the damage first, the others get affected. Okay, so holla at your boys. Jim Farley, this is how it's done right here. This is something that I will buy over a Camry around that era, okay? This is what I like to call the American Camry. Ford beat them to the punch by redesigning their car in 06. And then it was like, oh, hell no. So then everybody else followed suit. The Chevy Malibu was way out of date. They were still selling the Chevy Malibu Classic. Y'all remember that? That piece of crap. Anyway, so Nissan followed pursuit with their redesign of the Nissan Altima in 2007. Then Honda followed pursuit with their Honda came out with a third facelift for their Honda Accord, but it was still outdated. So they did a full redesign in 2008. Toyota Camry followed pursuit in 2007, so forth and so on. Chevy Malibu wouldn't redesign their vehicle until 08, but at that point, Ford already ate up the midsize sedan market from the redesign 2 years in advance. So Ford was off to a good start, and I haven't heard too many complaints about this vehicle. Okay, so let's talk about outside design. You have the tri-bar grille. This was their signature. They said this is what we're going to identify as, okay? This is what we're going to call a Ford. And you would see this across the board. You would see it later on models like the new Ford Taurus, which was the facelifted Ford 500, okay? You would see it on that big boxy Ford Flex, okay? You would then see it on elements like the Ford Explorer, like the tri-bar grille at that point would have them became their identity, okay? And Ford knocked it out the park with this one. You have what I like to call projector beam headlights, okay? These were your low beams right here, okay? Right here, these were your high beams. Your turning signals was inside of the cluster right here. And then this is the SEL model, top trim level. So these come standard with the fog lamps, and they are actually functional. A lot of things that I complain about is not having functional vents. Not only that these have fog lamps, they actually have functional vents for airflow. That helps with fuel efficiency, and that also helps, you know, with coefficient drag. You know what I mean? It helps. And it also helps open up more open tunnels for like keeping everything cooled inside of there. Because, you know, people, they beat these cars up, especially in the US. They beat these cars up. So you need as much space as possible. So I commend Ford about actually putting their money into functional vents. I like that. I like cars with functional vents. Okay. You got all these EVs and they don't have anything for it to go through. You still need stuff. You got electronics that get hot in there. That stuff got to stay cool. So functional vent right here. You have an opening right here, opening right here, opening right here. You have all the places in the world to keep these. So I guess that's probably one reason why these cars last so long. There's so many damn openings for the wind to come in there to drive against, you know, the force of you driving for the wind to come in there, wind travel. So that was a great design about this. Of course, you have the beautiful Ford logo, big and bold on this grill. This is our, I would say, like, hate it or love it grill. My personal preference, I actually liked the original 06 grill better, but you know, I guess they got to change the design. But what I do like about this grill is how it connects from one headlight all the way to the bumper. I think that's a really great and bold design element. It gives character to the car. It really shows you the width of this car, lets you know that this car is large and in charge. And just to show y'all a presentation of how beautiful the lights is, let me give y'all a quick light show. Okay, very nice, well projected beam lights right here. And then of course you hit the alarm. There you go. Gives you a nice little double dance right there to shut the lights off on the car. Moving on to the side of the vehicle, these are not the stock rims right here. I know these are not the stock rims because these come off of the Ford Fusion Sport, okay? And I'll explain that in a minute. I don't know what they did with the rims, but whoever had this car prior to me, great job, because these rims are staying on the car. But why did I show you the side of the car? Because this also goes on with the lighting show. You would hit the unlock button here and boom, you have a projector light that comes from underneath the mirror right here, okay? I wanted to get my head out the way. I got a big ass head. I wanted to get that. Actually, it's kind of pretty Tupac size. So if I cut this, my head bald, I'll show you that in a minute.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, there you go. So it has a projector lamp to welcome you to the car. Okay, and guys, that's actually not dirt. That's actually paint right there, paint splash. I don't know if he was a painter, but yeah. So you would hit this button right here. The light projects on the ground, gives you a little welcome right here. And another thing I want to show you, all of you, right here. Boom. If you look right here, we have Ford's famous unlock code. Ford was the only automaker that did this, okay? Nobody did this. You would press your unlock code. If you didn't want to use your key, you could program the code, whatever it is. And a lot of people used this back when the car was new. It was a Ford exclusive feature. You had it on your Lincolns. Nissan did it back in the 80s, but Ford really dominated the game with this. They've been doing it for decades, okay? And it was very famously known on their Lincolns. But you would hit this code, people would go on trips, maybe where to go fishing. They didn't want to go in places like where they would have to carry their keys around and lose them, so they would put them in the car, lock the car up, then they would hit the code, and then you would unlock the car. And if you forget your code, you just look at the manual. There is a reset code. Every car has an individual reset code. You will go underneath the car inside. It will show you the reset code. You would hit the reset code and then reprogram your custom unlock code. Keeps people from stealing your car. Moving on to the back of the car, let's talk about some exterior features on the back. One of the things I liked in particular about this Ford Fusion was their taillights. The taillights had a honeycomb grill design inside of their lights. It was a honeycomb design, and I really like it. It was so exclusive. So you would hit the unlock button, and right there it just illuminates the honeycomb design. I think it was completely unnecessary, and I just love everything about it that much more, that them doing something that was completely unnecessary. But you know what? No other midsize sedan was doing this at the present time. What I will tell you is when Honda did their third facelift, that was the first time that they put LED lights in their car. So people was going crazy about that. But nobody in history, not yet, no other car, old, new, no other car had honeycomb taillights. Did your car have honeycomb taillights? No, it did not, unless you had another Ford Fusion and another honey in the car to go with it. Holla at your boy. Also, the center brake light was not inside the car. It was actually on the back of the car. So if you would hit the brakes, okay? And then the center tail light will illuminate right there. I like how it's integrated within the logo and the chrome bar that's right here. I think that was pretty cool. Trunk space is very great in this car. So pretty much W Ford. Also, antennas, okay? This is when antennas started getting smaller, okay? If y'all remember the antennas back in the day, they used to be taller than street poles, man. Seriously, like that was absolutely crazy. And now, like, if you look at all the cars, like they have shark tail antennas, like very small ones now. More so integrated into the design. Like, I thought those antennas made the car look so damn ugly. Fucking flies. But anyway, yeah, man, very nice design in the back. This one was very well kept up and preserved with. I see a lot of these on the road. I see a lot of these on the road. Okay, so let's talk trims and powertrain, most importantly, okay? To say that you didn't have options to choose from the Ford Fusion, you would just be a plain Pinocchio nose liar, okay? Ford Fusion came with not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 trims options to choose from for the Ford Fusion, okay? You had the SE, you had the SEL, okay? You had the S, okay? You had the Sport, and then you had the hybrid. So let's go over the first one, the S, the SE, and the SEL. The S, the SE, and the SEL came with a 2.5 liter inline 4-cylinder, okay, producing 175 horsepower. Now, the difference is only the S came only with the 4-cylinder, but if you opted for the SE, the SEL, you could get two powertrains, either the inline four with 175 horsepower, or you could opt for a 3-liter V6, okay, that produced 240 horsepower. That's for the SE and the SEL. This is the SEL right here, and this one has the inline four with 175 horsepower. But Ford didn't stop there, okay? They said, you want a base model Ford, good fuel efficiency, you know, nothing powerful, no gas guzzler needed. We got you with the inline four. You want something with a horsepower, but you don't want to break the bank? We got a V6. Ford decided to give a performance-oriented V6, okay? And they created the Sport model. The Sport model added 23 more horsepower, making 263 for the Sport model. Astronomical numbers. Ford did not come to play. But you said, you know what? Okay. Y'all want to save the planet? We got you as well, too. Ford came out with a hybrid trim level for this vehicle, y'all. It was slow as hell. It had 191 horsepower. So that's slow for me in mid-size sedans terms. But you had a hybrid that had 41 miles per gallon highway, y'all. So just to put that into comparison, I brought it up right here just so y'all can see it. The 2007 Camry hybrid had 40 miles per gallon city, 38 miles per gallon highway. Honda Accord, when they first came out with their first hybrid, they were the only hybrid that had a V6. What's up with you?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I get in there.
Huh?
I get in there.
What you got?
I rap.
You rap?
Yeah.
It's a car channel.
Oh shit.
But I tell you what though, I am doing something later on as far as like I'm gonna be doing like test drive videos. So I'm gonna be adding like basically I'm gonna add the music to there. So
Like you ever seen like the joints on YouTube where they be like
it's just gonna be like videos where I'm like just driving for 10 minutes on like the POV driver review.
Right. You ever seen? Now you never seen the videos though where like you'll be driving and then it'd be like me and the passenger and you got the mic type shit and we just riding around. You ever seen them joints?
No, but I seen the mic, the hanging mic challenge, but in the car while they driving.
Got in the car.
Oh, that's different.
Around, you got the camera. You feel me? They catching different clips and shit. Yeah, that's the car.
You got an IG?
IG, yeah.
All right, what's your? Oh, I got you. About to DM you now. Got you. All right, man.
Brother.
Yes, sir.
What's your name?
You call me G's.
G's.
Yes, sir.
Shout out my man G's.
All right, man. Holla at your boy. So basically, let's get right back to it, and that's what you do, man. You network. That's how you do it. So the 2008 Honda Accord was the only midsize model in all of the competition that had a hybrid paired to a V6. Like everybody was just trying to do their own thing, and it was just really a war of the hybrids. And Honda was like, "Look, we'll give you fuel efficiency and power at the same time." Do y'all see any of those V6 hybrids on the road anymore? Anyway, so, and their miles per gallon reflected that. We're talking 22 miles per gallon city, 31 miles per gallon highway on a hybrid because it was still made it to a V6. So I think they were trying to do a type of like performance type thing. I'm not quite sure where they was going with that. Nissan Altima hybrid, although they shared the technology with Toyota, it had 35 miles per gallon city, 33 miles per gallon highway. So respectable numbers. First time for Nissan, and it was mated to, that's a good ass question. It was mated to a CVT because Nissan Altima at the time by the 07 model year dropped, they only had a CVT. So I'm really shocked that this is the only numbers that they gave. I think Toyota really stripped them of their resources on how much they could use their hybrid technology. But Ford, not Ford, Ford said 41 miles per gallon city, okay? Ford knocked it out the park. Like when I tell you that Ford literally said 36 miles per gallon highway, this was your American Camry right here. You didn't need to buy the Toyota Camry. You didn't need to buy a Honda Accord. This, Jim Farley, is how you get it done. This is how you get it done. Who said we didn't want an American sedan? And that's the problem. All of y'all discontinued the market because y'all thought everybody wanted SUVs. Now look at that. The whole market, they played Ford and GM out of the market, and now everybody is making sedans, everybody is making freaking coupes. Honda's coming back with not one, but 2 coupes from my understanding. Toyota's coming back with another Supra, a Celica. They're coming out with a new coupe for the Lexus brand. It's going to be the LFA successor. They played y'all out the whole market. And they knew not to go all in on EVs. Toyota definitely was first on it. So, you know, I just wish the American brands would stop chasing the ghost of Tupac. You know, I can't express this enough. Jim Farley, if you see this video, please bring us back sedans. I'm telling you right now. Do y'all know that they still make this Ford Fusion in China? I'm telling it all. Ford Fusion, this is public. Ford Fusion, Ford Taurus is one vehicle now. The Ford Mondeo in China, but they call it the Taurus in some places. They call it the Mondeo in some other places, but it's the same car. The Taurus is back to mid-size sedan. Taurus went through not one, but 2 redesigns since they canceled the Taurus in 2019, okay? I believe 2019 would be the same last year for the Ford Fusion as well. I think they killed their entire lineup at the same time. But you listen, man, Ford Focus. Toyota got the Corolla, the sedan, the hatchback. They got the Camry sedan. They got a full-size sedan. Chevy, where's our Impala at? Y'all bring the Impala, y'all gonna dominate the game. Get an Impala, I don't care. 4-cylinder V6, people were still buying them. You know, who would have thought that you had an Impala SS, y'all would think to put a 4-cylinder in it. But they were still buying them. And I know they were, I loved them. I had a couple of them, rental car fleets, till I got pulled over. But yeah, man. Ford Fusion, man. You're missing out on an entire market, Jim Farley. Bring our sedans back. We shouldn't have to buy 2025 Toyota Camrys, 2025 Nissan Altima. I like Nissan, but you see what I'm driving, Jim Farley. I drive a Ford. I drive an American sedan. It's not a Dodge Charger where people can't afford it because of how popular it is, how expensive it is, how expensive it's going to be even more with its iconic status. Whatever happened to a purebred American wanting a nice sedan, an economy car, a car that is not a hatchback with body cladding and you're building it as an SUV? Whatever happened to Ford not wanting the sedan market taken by the Asians and the Europeans? Okay, whatever happened to us being able to get a nice car that was affordable, cheap, nice size for the family, go on trips and all that stuff like that, and it didn't have to be expensive? This was the answer. Toyota's still doing it, Nissan's still doing it, Kia's got a full lineup of vehicles. They're about to redesign their Hyundai Elantra. Did y'all see the spy shots of that? We'll talk about that in another video. It looks like a miniature Hyundai Grandeur. If y'all don't know what it's called the Granger. If you don't know what the Granger is the Korean full-size sedan for Hyundai, but they did produce the Granger in the United States. It was known as the Hyundai Azera, okay? You had the Hyundai XG, then you had the Hyundai Azera, okay, which that was their Granger. And Hyundai's still in the game, man. They got 2 sedans. Kia's still in the game. They got 2 sedans. They had the Stinger at one point. Like, come on, man, what are we talking about here? So, Ford, if you see this is our open letter. We would like for you to bring a full lineup of sedans back. We would like to see the Taurus come back. If you don't want to bring the Fusion back, we would like to see the Taurus come back. We would like you to just bring a new design. Y'all have the capability to do it. We're looking over there in China. We see what you're doing over there. We're mad about it. You said everybody wanted SUVs, yet all the Asians and Europeans are still making sedans in the United States, and y'all building our sedans in China. How ass backwards that is. We need your help, Jim Farley. Help us out. We want sedans, man, and we shouldn't have to go to your competition to get them. And don't tell us to buy them used. What if we want to buy a brand new Ford? I drive a Ford. You see it. So help us out, man. Moving on to the interior. Let's pretend you're shopping for a car and I'm your salesperson. And I'm going to show you all the interior features of the 2010 Ford Fusion SEL because there is a boatload of them. So you might want to grab your pen and paper for this one. And let's start with the coolest one right here. Freaking ambient lighting. Isn't that crazy? Ambient lighting in the 2010 Ford Fusion. And you could change it in multiple colors. Ford was not here to play with y'all, okay? So you would push this button right here, okay? And then you could change it to different colors, whatever color, mood lighting, you know, whatever your mood color is. You know, you didn't have to wait for your girl to change the mood color on your ring, because you could change the mood color for her in your car. And also right here, you have dual zone climate control. Okay, you have heated leather seats. You will press this button right here. Heated leather seats for the driver, heated leather seats for the passenger. And as I come across each item, I'm going to tell you all the common issues in these cars as well too, because it wasn't just the steering. Okay, it wasn't the electronic steering. This one, the electronic steering is great in here, but that was a common issue on the 2010 to 12 Ford Fusion. So if you come across a good one, it's locked in forever. It's going to be good. One common issue, and it's really stupid, but it kind of hurts if it's the winter time. If you want your butt to be warm and toasty, this one right here, and this has this issue right here in this car. Every freaking Ford Fusion SEL that I see with the heated seat feature, it works on the passenger side, but it goes out on the driver's side. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. And this car, in this particular example, it actually doesn't work. It'll turn on for a second and it'll turn back off. So that's a common issue. That's something that you're thinking about and stuff like that. It could be a simple fix. You have your AC, you have your AC Max right here. This button is stupid. They need to get rid, automakers need to get rid of this button. This is really screwing your fuel economy right here. And destroying your engine. So we could do a video literally on this whole button right here. This button is going to destroy your engine. Stop using it, okay? It's pointless, okay? I think they put it in there on purpose because there's like, oh, let me just change the wind direction. You're fucking your engine up doing that. Don't press this button over time. People don't think of those little things that really saves and extends the life of your car. That's one of them. You hit this right here. This is your traction control on off button right here. And you turn this dual zone climate control. You can set your individual controls for temperature. So if you want to be hot on one side, you can adjust the temperature for the driver's side. And if you want to adjust the temperature for the passenger side and you want to be cold on that side, you can do so that way as well too. Also, this car came with, let's talk about the audio system, okay? This came with standard with a Sony premium sound system that came on all of the SEL trims, and you would use AM, you have FM, you had a CD player, you had an aux mode, yes. The aux mode is inside of here. We'll get to that in a minute. You had Sirius satellite radio, and you had a CD player, okay? Freaking CD player. So right here, you would hit aux. You can go inside of here, and you had a USB option. So no excuses. And then you had your two 12-volt outlets where you could add additional chargers, whatever you want to do with that. Going back up to here, Ford Sync was pretty complicated when I was a teenager looking at it. But now when I look at it, it's pretty simple. But to the untrained eye, you'll be figuring this out for a little bit. I recommend Gemini, Shayla on Gemini. Her name is Shayla on Gemini. Just look it up. Steps on how to set up Sync in 2010 Ford Fusion SEL. That's simple and very simple. So you would hit this button right here for your radio. You would hit this right here for your tunes. You would press this button if you want to do a phone call. Your scan button, it automatically resets the radio channels if you have the little fuzzy signal out. This right here, your sound in your menu. This sound right here, you'll go to your different EQ settings. So that's pretty cool right here. Tune. And as a matter of fact, I'll even start the car for you so you can see a nice little demonstration of this. So you would hit tune right here, and that pretty much is basically turn radio. We're going to turn it down. Media menu. And then you look at your different options. Okay. You will use the tune dial. Okay. You can press it and you can turn it. Pretty cool, right? And then you would select your different audio sources to choose from. If you want a radio, if you want a CD player, if you want an aux, if you want a Bluetooth. Very, 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 very optional. So you would hit the sound right here to change your different EQs from your bass. You would hit it again, hit treble to balance your fade. Speed composition off, meaning like it would like reduce the volume when you're at a certain speed. And I think it would do that when you turn the car on. First turn the car on. If you wanted to set it to a parental mode, you could do that for the kids if you have your teenagers driving the car. Pretty cool stuff right here. Also, you go up here. These are your presets for the radio. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 presets, y'all. 10 presets. You press this button right here. You can set your time. You hit this button right here for your CD to eject. You will press this button right here to load it. And what you have here is a 6-disc CD changer. So yes, I was right. It does have a 6-disc CD changer. Very cool. So you have Bluetooth, USB, aux, XM satellite radio, AM, FM if you still use AM, and a 6-disc CD changer. So many different options to choose from. No excuses. You will press this button right here. Okay, you would do that, and then that would program your phone. Good stuff. This was your not power steering, I'm sorry. This was your cruise control. You would hit those options right there. You can switch from next track, previous track, okay, volume, all on the steering wheel if you didn't want to go over there. Okay, over here, you would hit this for voice commands. So very cool. Okay.
Sync, please say a command.
Call smooth.
You can say USB, line in, Bluetooth audio, phone, read message, vehicle health report or help.
I don't think y'all want to read my messages. But you would go to the phone menu right here if you want to make a phone call. Okay. You would go to, you can go to your call history, you can go to your phone book, you can have them read your text messages. Don't do that if your partner's in the car, y'all. Well, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to hide, but I know how some of y'all are, and y'all slick. So, I'm gonna go on my call history, for, recent calls, and that is very customizable too. You can go to your incoming recent calls, your outgoing recent calls. You can go to all of that. Very cool feature to have here. So let's go back. Okay, let's go to return. We'll go to phone book, and then you can go through all of your options. You can go from the numbers all the way to Lynn, and you can go from Liz to Z. So basically A to Z, different options. Okay, from L to Z. I'm going to do a test call. Hopefully he answers his phone. We're going through the Q's, the R's. We're going to slow down right here because we're getting closer to the S. We're looking for smooth. Boom. So we got smooth, and then you call from your car. Turn your volume up. Make sure your volume's all the way up. Yo. Hello. Can you hear me? You want to know something crazy? He can't hear me right now because I think my phone's inside of in the building. But you would call doing that, and then I guess you would hit this button right here to simply end the call. That's good stuff. A lot of features in this car. Moving over to the side right here, you will press this button, open up the trunk. This is your infotainment information. You can switch the different options inside of your screen here. It did have a little small menu where you can change different things like your miles, show how many miles to empty. It shows how many miles that you're driving from A and B. So pretty decent options right here. This right here turns the brightness up and down of the inside dash. And then you have your standard options right here. You have your lights, then you have your high beam. No, that you pull this out, that's the fog lamps. So you have those right there. Then you have automatic mirrors. The mirrors have lane departure, y'all. The mirrors have lane departure. Very, 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 very cool feature right there. Ample storage. Let's talk about the next thing. Storage. Storage was out the wazoo for this. So you have this right here. Then you have that right there. Then you had your storage compartment over here. Fairly nice size, but you also had storage compartments right here at the top, right above your HVAC. And then right here where you can put some good old sunglasses. You also had compartment right here. You can put some stuff in there, maybe put some condoms in there, guys. Also, sunroof. The car had a sunroof. So most of the SELs came standard with a sunroof. I think pretty much, if not all of them. So that is a very well-equipped bang for your buck. Who needs a Camry? I got an American sedan. I'm surprised none of you have asked me to do this, but I'm going to do it for y'all. And at this point, you're going to harass me. Sit in the back seat. See how much space is in the back seat. Yes. I want y'all to understand that I am exactly 6 feet tall, not 6'1", not 5'11". I am exactly 6 feet tall. And I want you to understand, do you see where my legs is at? But look down where my feet is at. If I stretch my feet out, I still got ample leg room. And I got the seat all the way on the lean back. You got to understand, I'm a Philly driver. We drive on the lean and I'm 6 feet. We need the space. So, boom, the seat's all the way back. The seat's all the way back. And I still got room. I got it set to as if I'm driving the seat position. And I still got ample room. Look at the headroom right here. Look at the headroom. You see that? Ample headroom. You have your cup holders right here. Also, if you wanted to fold the seats down, we talked about that. You pull the seat inside the trunk, and then you can fold the seat down, and you have your 60-40 split. You have, boom, you got the ambient lighting also right there. And I want to show y'all a nice little light show. I did record the light show at nighttime to show y'all exactly what it is. So if you look right there, you have your ambient lighting in the front. You also have your ambient lighting in the back. So you could really set a mood here, y'all. I'm telling you, fellas, get a Ford Fusion. Don't get a Camry. Camrys for, I can't say that on this channel. I forgot as kids watching, damn it. This is for grown folks, okay? This is a grown folks channel, okay? We were all kids at once. We're grown now, seeing the child's place. But anyway, then very comfortable back here. Very comfortable. You have adjustable headrests. You can adjust all 3 of these. You would press this button right here. And then you could adjust seats. You could adjust this one. You could adjust that one. So you could adjust the seats back here. Plenty of space. Nice and cushy. That's one thing I loved about American sedans. Just so freaking couch comfortable. I could sleep in the back seat right here. Like if y'all had a good session, like sitting over the water, you and your girl get busy in the back seat, you know what I mean? And then y'all just can't move because y'all just so wasted from just getting busy in the back seat. It's so freaking comfortable back here. It's very easy to fall asleep in this car. So, do I recommend this? Well, it's one important thing that's missing, y'all. How does it drive? Oh, hey there. You still not subscribed yet? Yeah. Go on and hit that. But anyway, to the test drive. So when I drove this vehicle, I was very not surprised on how smooth the ride was. Okay. What I was surprised was how good the bumps were for a car with a suspension that's built off of a 4-cylinder. But then again, you shouldn't be surprised, because if you understand that the cars that Ford made prior to the Ford Fusion, we're talking the Ford Crown Victoria, the Mercury Grand Marquis equivalent, the Lincoln Town Car, all of their vehicles were pretty much, their family cars was built for cruising, built for going on trips with the family to the beach, you know, vacations. And this car is none other than the exception, okay? This car is butter smooth. butter smooth transmission. This car started in 2006. So at that time, the Crown Victoria was very much alive. So it wasn't built for sport. You know what I mean? Driving around, handling corners. You're not going to get that in this car. So fun factor, there's absolutely no fun factor in this car at all. You're going to hear the 4-cylinder. It's not, no exhaust issues, but you're going to hear this 4-cylinder. It's a 4-cylinder. Okay. A lot of their 4-cylinders, they've gotten better over time as far as the decibel. So you don't hear them as much as you do now. But back then, you were hearing a 4-cylinder, but it was smooth. What's beauty about this car, the beauty is when it's idle, you better check the key because you won't even know it's on. That's how quiet this car was. Acceleration, it takes its time and stuff like that. And it doesn't just whoosh, it smooths. It smooths on the downshift, real smooth. Real smooth downshift, real smooth upshift. So everything is going to be cruising on this car. You are not getting any type of sports done on this 4-cylinder. And I'm going to tell you what, not even the V6. Not even the V6. But when you do want to get it up to speed, you want to keep it up to speed. Because it is butter smooth at 70, 80 miles per hour. And I'm talking like roll the windows up, close the sunroof, close the shade. The cabin noise is very minimum, which is very impressive for, I don't care if this is the top trim level. I'm just impressed that it's that low for a Ford Fusion. So the ride looks bumpy, but it actually wasn't bumpy. It was very smooth. Handling, you're not getting no fancy sports cornering in this car. It's not happening. But as far as a daily driver, this was the perfect option. You still see these going up for like, I just spoke to somebody that I know, and she said she paid $5,200 for her Ford Fusion. But you know, it was worth every penny because there was nothing wrong with it. Moral of the story, these cars are what I like to call the American Camrys, not the Honda Accords. If you take care of this car, keep it with basic maintenance, you won't really have to do any major work over the course of time. Like, these cars really just last that long. We're talking about the same company that made one of the most reliable V8s. You still got Ford Crown Victorias with over 500,000 miles, 600,000 miles being used as taxis. I still see some of them being used in police vehicles. I'm telling you. Very reliable. So Ford does have the recipe for a reliable car. That's just what it is. And yeah, man. So as you can see, as I'm driving through traffic, you know, the brakes are good on the car. You know, if you just keep up with brakes, if you keep up with rotors, you know, you don't feel the ride. Like, it's that smooth. But if keep up with those little things, and as you can see, like, traffic is very moderate. There's not too much stop and go unless we get to like a traffic light. But I was very impressed. The sound system is good. I can't show y'all the sound system, of course, because I would get demonetized. But it has a very good Sony sound system. I'm not sure if it was 6 disc or not, but a lot of those cars around the time did come with those features on the top trim level. This is the SEL trim. So on top of having a butter smooth ride, you have the leather seats to go with it. So it really is a premium feel for a 4-cylinder, which is very surprising. Now on this next stretch right here, I'm going to literally like get busy with it. Like, I'm going to really show y'all how this thing get down. Like, you know, you can get busy in this car if you want to, but don't expect no Acura type handling. I'm not gonna lie. Say whatever you want about the Honda Accords from around this time. The dumb mugs know how to handle. Do you hear me? It's just in Honda's nature. You know, they said, pay 24 all the things and let the performance suspension go with it. So like, you literally in a Honda Accord 4-cylinder getting busy down the road. Cornering was excellent in those cars. You're not getting that in this right here, you know, but it does get busy. It depends on the driver too. So watch this right here. Watch how busy ew. You see that? Nasty. But you hear the revs. The RPM went up to almost like 5,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 RPM before it shifted to the next gear because I abruptly hit the accelerator for that automatic downshift. But hey, it's smooth though, nevertheless. Previous owner, you could tell like he had this car for a very long time. Strut towers taken care of, oil changes done regularly, because you wouldn't have a car running as smooth like this and then that's quiet like this. These cars are very easy to maintain, so you'd be a fool not to keep up with them. The next test that I did right here when I made this turn to show you how sharp and how well the steering wheel is on these 2010 Ford Fusions. This is the facelift of the first gen 2006 model. They had a mechanical rack and pinion. When the 2010 year came, I think this was one of Ford's biggest mistakes on the Fusion. They switched to an electronic rack and pinion. Every trim level came with an electronic rack and pinion, with the exception of the sport trim, which remained a mechanical rack and pinion. But every other trim besides that had an electronic one. And they are notorious for going bad. And when they do, I'm telling you, that steering wheel is, you better go to the gym and lift some weights, because that steering wheel is a brick. I mean, brick harder than you trying to hit that score and then Shaq come and smack the ball out your hand. Like, that's how brick it is when these electronic rack and pinions go. And you got to be careful changing tires because they got sensors in them. I've heard stories where the steering messed up just from them changing the damn tires, because the tire pressure monitoring system detected that the original tire or rim wasn't on there, and it just messed up the electronic steering. And as you can see, as I backed up right there, you couldn't see it that well, but right in the mirror, it's a hidden backup camera. A separate non-commentary raw footage of this test drive will be available for you to see on the channel after this car review, if you would like to see it. And that wraps up our review for the 2010 Ford Fusion SEL. You can check out this car on my page. It's gonna be all over the internet, okay? And if you're interested in actually purchasing this car, I have partnered up with Buy This Car ASAP once again, and they are going to have this listed, prices disclosed. Go ahead and go check out their page, and yeah, we'll just go from there. But this was a great car. This is a pioneer of American engineering, advanced tech that no other economy automaker had at the time. Ford beat everyone to the punch, and they had no business taking this car out the market. You know how they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? GM and Ford has a tendency of taking something that was perfectly fine and destroying it anyway. See, I don't have any hope left for Mary Barra, okay? But Jim Farley, this is our open letter to you, because we believe you as a car enthusiast first, okay, believe that you can save this brand and save the company by giving us what we really want. We don't want a United States full of EVs, so you need to treat it the same way that we don't need a United States just full of bubbles on wheels. We don't want a bunch of SUVs, hatchbacks sitting on stilts. What fun is that? Anyway, now that we have done the review and a test drive of this 2010 Ford Fusion, it is time to give it the official Blackhawk report card. Let's talk about it. Okay, so in terms of design, Ford knocked it out the park. Compared to his competitors around this time, nobody had as much identity and individual design as Ford did. Very unique, very thought well of. The Toyota Camry design was boring. Chevy Malibu was different, but it wasn't as creative as the Ford was. So Ford really put some thought into their design and definitely into their facelift. So I give that a strong 8 out of 10. Features wise, No other midsize sedan had the features Ford did. And I'm talking about across the board for like the vast majority of the products. Once they came out with Sync, that just knocked the game. It was game over for all of the market pretty much. Ford was well ahead of their time for that. And the Ford Fusion was no exception. And that gets a 9 out of 10. We're talking about freaking ambient lighting inside of the car, and just the audio alone, the sound system alone should give this the highest score. We're talking about a 6-disc CD changer, USB option, okay? You have an aux option, and you still have Bluetooth. We're talking about 10 different presets for your AM and FM radio. You're not going to beat that. Just that, those features alone. And you know, this particular model, heated leather seats, sunroof, all the bells and whistles off the wazoo, and it was at an affordable price when it was brand new. So you know, you was really getting bang for your buck. It was still a 4-cylinder if you didn't want a gas guzzler. So yeah, man, features wise, Ford knocked it out the park. So I get that a strong 9 out of 10. Fun factor, I told you off rip, it's a 4-cylinder. There's no fun in this car, so that gets a 5 out of 10. Comfort, I gave it a 6 out of 10 simply because the car was comfortable, but it was backseat, have sex with your girl comfortable, but it wasn't front seat have sex with your girl comfortable. Y'all probably wondering, why the hell is this consideration instead of rating? Because it is. The seat, it cannot lean back all the way. Sometimes I like to relax in my car. Sometimes if I'm sitting over the water, at a riverfront, or at a drive, like Kelly Drive, I like for my seat to be leaned back. I'm 6 feet tall. I'm on the road a lot. So I like my seat back. Some cars, the seats go all the way down. This one doesn't. And sometimes it can be uncomfortable for your back. So I'll give that a 6 out of 10. Acceleration, again, it's a 4-cylinder. I would have scored it higher if it was a V6. Ford had a butter smooth V6, but it wasn't a sports car. The V6 wasn't meant for sport. It was just meant for butter smooth cruising. So it wasn't no sports car intended. And of course, that would go over to the Lincoln model as well, the MKZ, the Zephyr. So this is just a 4-cylinder. So yeah, that's a dud. 4 out of 10. Handling, again, you know, sports car, so I get that a 5 out of 10. Engine, we're talking about as far as the reliability of these engines, these cars held up well, and I will give it a 7 out of 10. Okay, transmission, butter smooth, you know, but it ain't nothing special, but it's not a dud. It was very reliable as long as you took care of the regular service appointments and stuff like that, you would be fine. So for the transmission, I give it a 6 out of 10. I didn't hear too many complaints about these on the Ford Fusions. Quality, okay, I will give it a 7 out of 10. And I won't score it any lower, but I definitely won't score it any higher. One problem that I had with these Ford Fusions was that they used to rust all in the same spot, the back of the rocker panel. Why does it do that? I don't know. It didn't have any other quality issue, any other part of the car, except for the rocker panel on all the cars on both sides. So that's a kind of a dud for me. So, you know, I would have scored it much higher. And that's a 7 out of 10. Practicality, I give it a 7 out of 10. Not just because of the trunk. Good space for a midsize sedan, not just because you could fold the seats down and have additional cargo room, but because it had so many different storage compartments. You had 2 layers of storage compartments, an arm console. You would lift up the top layer. It was a small part right there. You would lift up the second part, and there was a deep tunnel where you could put additional stuff in there. Trunk, okay. You had your glove compartment. You could put stuff in there. You could put stuff in your doors. And it had a pull-out tray on the side of the steering wheel. Something completely unnecessary, not needed, but Ford did it anyway. And you had your sunglasses. Okay, so a lot of areas where you can store stuff. More than the competition. So I get that a 7 out of 10. Okay, and the total value, I would give it an 8 out of 10. You still see these cars on the road. Why? Because they're reliable. You know, and you get a car like this, you can get it fully loaded, leather seats, runs good, looks good, you know, features out the wazoo, and you can still get it for a very cheap price. So yes, I give it a strong 8 out of 10. You're getting bang for your buck on this car in the used market. And to be honest, I would have scored it much higher if they were still making this car, and I just can't give it a higher score. I just can't do it. And Jim Farley, I wish he will take notes. So if you're watching this video, man, we want American sedans back, okay? Not just sports cars, regular economy sedans that, you know, we don't have to buy a Japanese or European model. You know what I mean? This was the perfect example right here you should have took notes from. So anyway, we got a total score out of 72 out of 10, which just gives it the passing grade of a B. It just made it, and this is important for the channel because this is the first car that scored a B on a channel. If you looked at our first review for the 2002 Pontiac Grand Prix, the SE model, that scored a C. If you look at the 2015 Nissan Altima, okay, that also scored a C. So if we were to compare that, this is the most comparable car to this right here, compared against rivals. The Fords would score even higher. And I was just that much in love with the Ford Fusion, more so than the newer Nissan Altima, because, you know, again, I love American sedans, you know, and the fact that they left this market is a very, very disappointment. Jim Farley, if you see this, this is a demand, a cry for help. You're leaving an entire market to the competition. Give us American sedans back. Bring our Taurus back, our Ford Fusion / Mondeo, whatever you want to call it. Bring a Ford Focus back. Bring sedans back that we can enjoy and not watch all of our American dollars go to the foreigners. So do I recommend this car? Hell yeah. And I got a message for Jim Farley. If you want my money, if you want our money, bring the sedans back. And I do mean all of them. Bring a full-size sedan. Toyota's doing it. Bring a mid-size sedan. This beautiful car right here. Bring a compact sedan. You don't want to bring a compact sedan? Fine. But look at the Toyota Corolla. They got a hatchback. They got a sedan. Look at Kia. They got a hatchback. They got a sedan. Look at Nissan. They're redesigning their freaking Sentra. I thought that thing would have been gone. And they still got the Versa. So that should tell you something right there. And they're bringing back the Infiniti Q50, a sedan that they thought was dead. Look at Infiniti, for example. They thought they was going to get us with this SUV bullcrap, and they ended up canceling the Q50. I'm telling you, I think the Q55 is going to be next, the coupe version of that. And they said, oh, we actually want sedans. Okay. So take a page from Infiniti and take a page from Dodge. Okay. Give us what we want. We want variety. Hell, we'll buy both. Jim Farley, bring our sedans back. We want the Ford Taurus, and we want the Fusion back. Bring it back right now. This is our open letter for help. Help us, Jim Farley.
Kind of makes me wonder why the hell so many people are trying to tell me to slow down. Seems like motherfuckers should be shutting the hell up and enjoying the show.